Imagine you had to erase every single exercise from the world, and you were only allowed to save 5. Which 5 would you save? It's a tough question, but you don't have to guess. Someone already figured that out for us, and that someone is the human body itself. Through all of history, for millions of years, it was writing its own operating system. It was designed with one goal: to survive anything. But because of modern life, that system has shut down, making us weak and fragile. And to reactivate that system, you only need 5 exercises, which will make you stronger and more capable than 99% of people. Let me ask you something. Why can a 2-year-old sit perfectly balanced with their hips almost touching the ground for 10 minutes, yet most of us adults can't even get into that position without falling over? The answer is simple. The toddler is still using their body's original perfect operating system, the one you were born with. But as we grew up, chairs, cars, and modern comforts installed bad software. Now, our system is slow and full of errors. Luckily, our body has a system restore function. For millions of years, before a single chair existed, this was the natural human resting position. It's how our ancestors would rest, cook, and socialize, all while keeping their hips flexible and their bodies ready to jump into action at a moment's notice. By relying on chairs, we told our body's operating system that we no longer needed this ability to be ready for anything. And to restore it, here is all you have to do. First, put your feet apart, about as wide as your shoulders. Now, pretend there is a tiny little chair way behind you and slowly sit your bottom down. Keep your back straight and your chest up. Go as low as feels good for you. Then, just push the floor with your feet and stand back up tall. And here's something you should know. In countries like Japan, where sitting low is still part of life, rates of hip surgery and back problems are among the lowest in the world because they never stopped using their body's full range of motion. So, how do you make sure you have a perfect system that always works? Listen closely. You only have to do this. What if I told you we live inside a cage we don't even see? It's not made of iron bars, it's forged by gravity itself. For your entire life, you have thought of gravity as the enemy. From the moment you get out of bed, gravity is a weight on your shoulders, pushing you down. It squishes the space between the bones in your back, making you shorter than you should be. But thousands of years ago, your ancestors didn't fight gravity. They used it. They climbed trees and swung from branches, letting gravity stretch them out and make them stronger. We may not live in those trees anymore, but the idea is the same. That gravity feels like wearing a heavy backpack all day long. And this next exercise is simply the feeling of taking that heavy backpack off and letting your back feel light and free. Find a strong bar that you can hang from safely, like at a park or in a gym. Reach up and grab the bar with both hands, with your palms facing away from you. Now just let your feet lift off the floor and hang. That's the most important part. Do nothing. Just relax your whole body and let it feel heavy. Imagine you are finally setting that heavy backpack down on the floor after a long, tiring day. Just breathe and enjoy the feeling. Now, while you're hanging, something incredible is happening, and I want to talk about it. It might sound crazy, but modern science has discovered that the strength of your grip is one of the most accurate predictors of how long and healthy your life will be. So, that's another reason why you should do this exercise. Now that you know, there's something else, something secret, the 6th exercise nobody talks about, but it's the most important thing for your survival, and that is... Now, here is a simple test of your real-world strength. Would you be strong enough to carry a loved one to safety in an emergency? In the era before wheels and wagons, carrying weight meant survival. Early humans carried everything: bundles of firewood, jugs of water, the day's hunt, and even children, across miles of unforgiving terrain. Our bodies were literally built for this. Nowadays, we rarely carry anything heavy ourselves. We have carts, cars, and machines to do the job. As a result, we have gotten weaker. Our hands can't hold heavy things for very long, and our backs can get sore easily. Our bodies have forgotten how to work as a team. And this exercise is the best way to teach your whole body to be a strong team again. It's the most useful thing for real life. Here's all you do. First, find 2 heavy things that are about the same weight. Dumbbells are great, but even 2 heavy bags will work. Second, pick them up safely. Now stand up tall, pull your shoulders back, keep your chest up, and tighten your stomach muscles. And third, just walk. This is one of the first exercises we, as a human species, have practiced since the beginning of our existence. You know, there's an old saying, you can't fake farmer strength. A person who lifts huge weights in a gym might not be able to carry 2 heavy buckets across a field without their body breaking down, because it's not just about the muscles. limits. It's about activating our primal system that helped us survive that long. Okay, now it's time for a very important lesson. Imagine a life where you don't have any back problems, a life where you don't have to worry about picking something up and getting injured. That life is completely possible, but it's not a reality for most of us. Let me explain. Imagine your body has two tools for lifting. The first tool is a small, weak crane. That's your lower back. The second tool is a giant, powerful engine. That's your hips and legs. The problem is, most of us have a bad habit of always trying to lift everything using the crane or our lower back. That's when injuries start to happen, and in the worst case, surgeries that can be very expensive. And to make things funny, all this can be avoided just by using something your body gave you for free: legs and hips, or that powerful engine. So, how do you learn to use the engine instead of the crane? First, stand up straight with your feet about hip width apart and a very small, soft bend in your knees. Second, keep your back perfectly straight and flat, like a ruler. You can place a hand on your lower back to feel it staying straight. Now, push your hips straight behind you as if you're trying to tap a wall far behind you with your butt. That's it. When you move this way, you are telling your big, strong leg and butt muscles to do all the heavy work. This keeps your back safe so it never gets hurt. When engineers study why a great bridge or a massive ship fails, it's almost never because the whole thing was weak. It usually comes down to one single critical point of failure, one small part that couldn't transfer the load to all the others. Your body works the exact same way. You can have strong legs and strong arms, but what is that single point of failure for most of us? It's not a muscle, it's timing. It's the inability of your brain to command your hips, your core, and your shoulders to all fire in one perfect explosive sequence. You have all this strength, but it's out of sync, like an orchestra where every instrument plays a moment too late. This final exercise is the masterclass in timing. Here is how you practice that perfect timing. You will need a medicine ball. First, use your perfect hip hinge to pick the ball up safely, loading the power into your legs. Second, lift the ball high overhead, gathering that energy up through your entire body, like the orchestra taking a deep breath before the final note. And third, you will synchronize the system. In one explosive instant, channel all of that power through your core and slam the ball into the ground. Then pick it up safely and repeat. This is about being as explosive as you can. Now for the craziest fact of all, this final exercise is less for your muscles and more for your brain. Here's why. Strength is how much you can lift, but power is how fast your brain can tell your muscles to lift it. You can be incredibly strong, but if the signal from your brain is slow, you will never be powerful. So let's go back to that original question. If you could only save 5 exercises, what would they be? Now that you know, there's something else, something secret, the 6th exercise nobody talks about, but it's the most important thing for your survival, and that is doing nothing. This is the oldest survival instinct we have. Think about any animal in the wild. When it's wounded, what does it do? It doesn't practice its sprint. It finds a safe, quiet place and it rests. We are the only creatures in the universe who think we can heal and get stronger while we are still running. What does this mean? When you exercise, you are making tiny, microscopic tears in your muscles. This is not a bad thing. This is the signal to your body that says you need to be stronger. But your body can only repair those tears and build new, stronger muscles when you rest. The actual moment you get stronger is when you are sleeping. If you never rest, you just do the damage, but you never do the repair. So, how do you make sure you have a perfect system that always works? Listen closely. You only need to do this a few times a week, and it takes less than 20 minutes. First, you must wake the system up. And to do that, start with a deep squat. Your only job is to move smoothly. Perform 15 slow, perfect squats. You will perform this next part as a circuit. This means you do all 3 exercises one after the other. You will do this 3 times. Pick up 2 heavy things. Stand tall and just walk. For 45 seconds, perform the farmer's walk. Now, put the weights down. It is time to practice using your engine, not the crane. Perform 10 perfect hip hinges. Finally, pick up your medicine ball. It is time to synchronize the system. In one explosive instant, perform 6 powerful ball slams. After the final slam, be still and rest for 90 seconds. Then, repeat this circuit 2 more times. When you finish the work, you have to decompress the system. Find your bar and just hang. Just let go. Let gravity put you back into place. Do this twice, hanging for as long as your grip can hold. And this is the entire program you need to do for the rest of your life.